Welcome back to East Hartford. There was great fear here today that Hurricane Noel would really wreak some havoc here tonight, but not so. At least it doesn't appear that bad. Of course, we're up in this booth. How's it like down in the field, Melissa?
You know, Dave, Hurricane Noel did bring a lot of rain all day. Up until about 2 or 3 hours ago, it continued to rain. Now it's pretty dry, but this natural grass here is pretty slick. So there's also the wind that both teams will have to contend with. So we'll see how that will affect their passing games. Dave?
Very good. Thank you, Melissa Knowles, our sideline reporter here tonight. When you look at UConn coming in here to this game, here they come in with this unprecedented 7-1 record in a 47-degree night. Coach, the wind is probably the biggest factor at this point.
Dave, that really is the concern of both coaches, because when you have a strong wind in your face, you worry about how you're going to punt the football. You want to play field position. You don't want to throw long passes into that area, so you really have to be on top of your game.
It'll be UConn to kick off first, as Rutgers will have the ball. They'll go on offense first. When you look at Rutgers this year, they've had a very good season. Now, of course, last year they had that terrific 9-0 start, maybe a little bit disappointed. Played Kansas State in the Texas Bowl at the end of that year, but still an unprecedented season for the Scarlet Knights with 11 wins last year and a final number 12 ranking.
Had a solid year, and they played good football at times this year, and they're first time on natural grass tonight, as you said, so there could be some early slippage.
We'll see what happens as they make that adjustment to this natural grass. They've done a pretty good job. Dennis Campbell, one of the deep men, back for the Knights, and it's UConn kicking off first to start this game. To the goal line, that is Campbell. And he is stopped shy of the 20-yard line. So Rutgers will go on the attack, starting at their own 16-yard line. And of course, Ray Rice, one of those guys we'll be watching closely here, already over 1,000 yards this year. The third straight year he's done that. Only guy at Rutgers to ever have that accomplishment, averaging almost 5 yards per rush. Plus, he knows how to find the end zone. 13 touchdowns this year, 38 in his career. Ray Rice, he's the lone back. From the shotgun, Mike Teal. Teal battling all kinds of injuries. He slips a little bit as he throws it across the middle. That's incomplete. The pass intended for Kenny Britt, and he couldn't hang on. Let's take a look at the offense for the Scarlet Knights. We mentioned Mike Teal. Right now he's got a thumb injury, hard to grip the ball. He also has an injury to his middle finger. Andres Morales, the guy that does most of the blocking for Ray Rice, and a great front line. This is maybe one of the best front lines in the Big East Conference, and that's saying a mouthful. Mike Fladell, even though he is 6'8", 320, he's actually slimmed down. He's lost some 50 pounds, and he's done a great job. Here comes Rice trying to break a hole, gets it up to the 20-yard line. You're going to see a lot of gang tackling by the UConn defense. And let's look at that front four. Julius Williams with 6.5 sacks. Cody Brown has 4.5, but the emotional leader is Dan Davis. Danny Lansana, he is the captain of this team, one of 6 captains, I should say, and he is flanked by a pair of redshirt freshmen at the linebacker position. Robert Vaughn with 5 interceptions this year. He leads a very outstanding secondary. 18 interceptions for UConn this season. 3rd and 7 for Rutgers. And a pass through the hands of Kenny Britt again, and maybe a slick ball, tough to hang on to.
Rutgers dropped 8 passes last week in their game with West Virginia. Now, Dave, we're going to see if that wind does affect the punting game, because the wind is right in the Ito's face.
Jeremy Ito, one of the best kickers in the Big East and in the land. He was talking to his coach, Greg Schiano, this week, said it's probably hampered a little bit by the fact that he has to do both the punting and the kicking. Jasper Howard is one of the deep guys, actually 2 deep guys for UConn. Block! This one is blocked and into the end zone, and it goes through the end zone.
Safety.
That'll be a safety. UConn couldn't recover it in the end zone, or it would have been a a touchdown. It goes through the back, and that'll be 2 points for the Huskies.
Boy, great job coming through.
Good block in there by Hernandez, DJ Hernandez. Special teams.
Former quarterback, played quarterback last year, moved to wide receiver to help the team, but does a big job on the special teams and blocks the kick.
Well, you talk about an unselfish player. A man that was a quarterback a year ago. Once he saw Lorenzen come on campus, he said, Coach, I think it's better if I move to wide receiver. It'll help us more. And so here he goes to the wide receiver role. Plus, he wants to play special teams. He is one of those 6 captains.
It looked like to me, Dave, that Jeremy Ito didn't handle the ball right away. Looked like it slipped a little bit, took a little more time for him to kick the football.
A great start for Randy Edsall and the Huskies as they've made a statement. Great block inside by DJ Hernandez. And the only thing they're probably complaining about, let's look at Ito again, see if he does fumble it.
Jeremy Ito, he doesn't handle it cleanly, but there's no way. DJ Hernandez came in untouched. Just a little bit of a bounce there in his hands and didn't get it clean.
I think that's just bad blocking on the part of Rutgers, huh, Coach? I mean,
yes.
Because Hernandez got in there very, very quickly. The only thing that UConn would be upset about it all, and not that they're upset, is that they couldn't recover that ball in the end zone, or it would have been 6. But not only did they get to the 2 points, but on the safety, they'll get the ball back if they can hang on to it, which they do near midfield.
Great field position for Tyler Lorenzen to start the game.
So right now you would have to say that maybe wind a little bit of a factor on that kick in particular, and then Ito probably taking a little bit too long and trying to set up his kick. So here comes Tyler Lorenzen, the 4th different starting quarterback in as many years for UConn. But Coach, he has solidified the role and is a great leader at quarterback.
A leader, poised, doesn't make mistakes. He's got the wind at his back.
9 touchdown passes, only 4 interceptions for Lorenzen. And the give is to the back. Tackled by Brandon Rincart. Andre Dixon, who ran the ball last week for 167 yards. You look at Tyler Lorenzen. This is a guy, as coaches said, he is just so steady. He can run the ball. He's 6'5", 2 1/4. And plus, his completion rate is spectacular. Out of Palomar Junior College by way of Iowa State. Over 1,500 yards passing with 9 touchdowns, only 4 interceptions. This guy just doesn't turn the ball over. Last year in JUCO, he had 26 touchdown passes, only 3 interceptions. Now Lorenzen, wide open across the middle. I mean, wide open, Steve Brous. 21 yards.
When you have the wind at your back, and this wind is a factor, Lorenzen's going to take a shot down the football field against 2 deep coverage. Brous is right in the area that's open against 2 deep. A good play fake by Lorenzen. Good throw.
We were talking to Coach Edsall yesterday. He said about Lorenzen, well, that's obviously a flag. He said Lorenzen has the it factor, Coach. He said whatever it is, he has it.
Prior to the snap, offsides, 97 on the defense, 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
And Dave, it's hard for a junior college guy to come in January, win all the players over, win the quarterback position, and the players all to buy in and believe in him. He's done a wonderful job.
So a 1st and 5 opportunity at the 24-yard line now for UConn. And the give there to Dixon. Tries to go around the left side, gets a couple of yards. Let's check out the UConn lineups, and when you look at their backs and receivers, it's Andre Dixon, who's kind of taken over for Donald Brown, who last year was all Big East as a freshman. And then when you look at that front line, you have to look at Donald Thomas, the lone senior, Keith Gray, one of their captains, And they do a terrific job in blocking for Dixon and also making sure they can protect Lorenzen. Now it is Donald Brown in the backfield. Coach Etchell said that he's going to try to give Andre Dixon a little bit more of a breather. Plus, he has a little bit more health for Donald Brown. He gets the first down. He goes inside the 20, down to the 16 before Kevin Mallist could make the stop. Let's look at the defense for the Scarlet Knights. Eric Foster is their captain, and he is their emotional leader. But Jamal Westerman is one of the guys that will come off the bench. Silvestro, a true freshman, getting his first start tonight. The linebackers, they're all very, very solid, led by Mallist, who has 58 tackles this year. And in the secondary, we'll take a look at that in a moment. So 1st and 10 here for the Huskies. Lorenzen dancing around a little bit. Good coverage on the outside, so he threw that one away. That coverage, the secondary for the Scarlet Knights, led by Courtney Green, who has 63 tackles to lead the way. But so far, the Scarlet Knights, Coach, they haven't picked off many passes.
No, and they pressured the quarterback, but right here is where the Huskies have had problems in the red zone. Last week in South Florida, they had trouble. It was like a fence was up in the red zone. They had to settle for field goals.
There's some movement on the line. That's one of the problems for UConn. They make silly mistakes when they get it inside the 20.
And they practice all week and concentrated on the red zone. So it sometimes becomes a mental thing with your football team.
It's almost like you try so hard to correct those mistakes, it gets worse.
All of a sudden you say, okay, here we are. We're in the red zone again. Let's tighten up a little bit. Let's loosen up a little bit, not tighten up.
Edsel came here 9 years ago. Didn't even have a campus visit. He was an assistant at Georgia Tech. Lou Perkins, then the athletic director, came down to visit him in Atlanta. And he said, actually, when I first made my visit after taking the job at UConn, I came on and saw they didn't have much in the way of facilities, and I thought, what have I gotten myself into? Takes them from 1AA and then all the way to 1A, and here they are, nationally ranked for the first time ever.
He gave Lou Perkins a lot of credit for the stadium and the program, and John Rowland, a former governor, he said those were the guys that believed we could do it.
Well, you look at the record since joining Division 1A, or the Football Bowl subdivision, in 2002, a winning record. They went to that Motor City Bowl in 2004. Back-to-back penalties makes it 2nd and 20. Now back outside the 25. Lorenzen feeling a little bit of pressure. And here comes some flags. So the coverage on the outside by Ron Geralt, a little bit too tight.
Pass interference, number 43 on the defense. Ball be placed at the spot of the foul. First down.
That's a huge break for UConn.
Ron Geralt came back from tonight from an injury, and just watching this Lorenzen throw. Tough to see that. It looked like pretty good coverage, but
he's got the arm wrapped.
Left hand.
Yeah, he's got that left arm wrapped around the back, and that really bails out UConn because they were going to face a 3rd and 20. Instead, they've got Andre Dixon. He goes down to the 5.
Really impressed with Andre Dixon last week, watching him play in the tape. 167 yards on 32 carries against a pretty good South Florida defense. Has good vision, good moves, ducks in, ducks out, gets good yardage.
So Dixon with 2 touchdown runs this year. Dixon, he goes down to the 2, inside the 2 actually. Dixon now 4 carries, 25 yards.
Pretty good offensive line at Connecticut. Protects Tyler Lorenzen, opens up holes for Dixon. Donald Brown
Second and goal from inside the 2. Lorenzen from the shotgun. Lorenzen into the end zone. Touchdown! Steve Browse, his 4th touchdown grab of the year.
This is an option route by Steve Browse. He goes down, feels the linebacker, hooks outside. Tyler Lorenzen with the ball right on time. Open receiver. Browse with a good route.
Now Cheruvino for the extra point. He's 24 of 26 this year. Ooh, that one was heading right, and it's no good. No good. Another missed extra point for Tony Cheruvino, but a touchdown, and the Huskies have taken command of this game with an opening safety on a block punt and a 2-yard touchdown pass from Lorenzen to Browse. Huskies get it done. Last year they just felt like they had too many excuses. They did not have a good season. They were 4-8 last year, 1-6 in the Big East. But this year it has certainly been an entirely different story as Browse scores again to cap an 8-play drive, 53 yards and 344, and again a huge penalty against Ron Geralt that really bailed the Huskies out on that drive. Now kicking off, Desi Cullen. This one heading into the end zone with the wind. There's a little hesitation there, but Tim Brown will bring it out, and he shouldn't have.
Now, if you're Rutgers right now, Greg Schiano, you want this ball. You want some first downs. You're facing that wind, and you're facing a very good defense. 3 and out. Looked like they slipped a little bit. The wide receivers on the first play. You talked about Mike Teal slipping on one throw. So let's see if now if they settle down, get the ball to Ray Rice.
You see the difference for Schiano. Those first 4 years he struggled trying to build this program, getting the players, getting them to buy into the fact that Rutgers was going to be good. They really turned the corner, and one of the big differences is the guy they have running the ball, and Ray Rice, who was going to go to Syracuse, and he turned that down when they made a coaching change. And now here's Rice running through a hole, and Rice is gone. Being tracked from behind, Rice still on his feet down to the 35. A penalty flag comes in late after the run, but a huge run for the moment for Ray Rice. A 50-yard romp.
Against a defense that doesn't give up much running yardage. 117 this year. Connecticut's defense giving up against the run.
Whoa, a holding call against Rutgers.
I think it's a personal foul here.
Oh, personal foul, all right.
It may come from the spot.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 7 on the offense. 15-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. It will be first down.
That was on Underwood, the wide receiver.
Dave, I think it was a late play where he may have pushed somebody way behind the run. Ray Rice just hits up in there, and you see how strong he is and how much balance he has, and the cutting ability, and then shows great speed.
Robert Vaughn trying to track him down. Tyvon Branch finally brought him down. A penalty by Underwood brings the ball back on the Rutgers side of the 50 at the 45. Pass is complete. Good pass that time from Mike Teal, and hanging on to the ball, Kenny Britt. Well, that was right on target from Teal to Britt.
And Mike Teal is a winner, and when Greg Schiano was talking to us about him, he said he's a winner. He's playing hurt. His thumb, he had a helmet early in the year, and it hurt his thumb, but he plays hurt, and he's done a great job. He's a winner.
He is.
18-6 as a starter at Rutgers.
Never lost, coach, in high school.
Yeah.
2 state championships. 23 straight wins for him in high school. Teal running the ball. No, that was Jabu Lovelace, the backup quarterback, who came in to spell Teal, and he is a good runner from the quarterback position.
Jabu Lovelace, I watched him. He came out early in practice before anybody was here. took some snaps, and I knew he was going to play in this football game.
We'll check too on Mike Teal, who threw a completion. Now a little change of pace here with Lovelace in at quarterback. 8-yard gain on first down, 2nd and 2 on the option. Lovelace down to the 20-yard line. Boy, he gives you another threat in running the ball.
Dave, you're right. I mean, you take out Mike Teal, who's a thrower and a drop back passer, and all of a sudden you bring in Jabu Lovelace, and he's a runner, but he can't throw the football. I watched him in the warm-ups, and he's got a good arm.
Teal back in at quarterback behind center. Little screen pass. He gets it off to Britt, weaving his way through traffic down to the 15. A 5-yard gain. It'll be 2nd and 5.
Kenny Britt, a good-looking wide receiver, 6'4", 205, can run, 32 receptions for 700 yards, 4 touchdowns. He's a big play wide receiver.
Tripped up at the line, falls forward for a couple of yards. Good play defensively in there by Scott Luttress. So 3rd and 3. From the 13, 3rd and 3. This has been mostly a ground attack for the Scarlet Knights. Teal looking to throw. That's incomplete. A pass intended for Tim Brown, but well behind him.
And that's one of the plays, maybe the thumb becomes an effect on that pass, because it looked like it slipped out of his hands.
That pass was a good, what, 5-8 feet off target?
Off target. So you have to figure that's a stump.
Jeremy Ito, a 30-yard attempt here. And look at this. He's perfect in this range so far. 13 of 18 on the year. His longest this year, 51 yards. Kicking into the wind. The kick is up plenty of distance, and it's good. Just inside the right goalpost. So Jeremy Ito getting the Scarlet Knights on the board. UConn with a safety and a touchdown and an 8-3 lead. Randy Etzel's team up 8-3 here in the first quarter with 6:59 remaining from Rentschler Field in East Hartford, Connecticut. Hey, don't forget college football on ESPNU continues later tonight as the Tigers of Jackson State take on the Alabama A&M Bulldogs. College football primetime presented by Citi tonight at 10:30 Eastern here on the U. With Mike Gottfried and Melissa Knowles, Dave Armstrong. Glad you could join us here. A chilly East Hartford, but it could have been a lot worse. They were expecting a torrential downpour at game time with 40-mile-per-hour winds. The wind still gusting in the 30s. But for the moment anyway, the rain has stopped, and things are a whole lot better than they could have been. So here's Ito now, kicking off again into the wind. A line drive kick. Taken at the 5. And a hole. Past midfield. A great return for Ty-Yon Branch as he gets it up past midfield. A 48-yard return.
Middle return by Branch. When you catch the ball, you're looking to make something happen. Everything opened up inside, a missed tackle. And Branch with a good return for great field position again for the Huskies.
You saw Branch's reaction, Coach. The return guys hate to be brought down by the kicker.
It was wide open. His eyes got big when he saw the big hole.
So again, great field position for UConn. An athletic move by Dixon to stay on his feet and get a couple of more yards out of that. Kevin Malice with another tackle for Rutgers, but a 4-yard gain on what really should have been a 1-yard gain.
The games Rutgers lost, Maryland ran 59 times for 239 yards. West Virginia ran 47 times for 254. Cincinnati ran 40 times for 150. So when their defense gives up running yards, they're going to go down.
Donald Brown now the lone setback. Like Dixon kind of tweaked something on that last run. Lorenzen running for his life now. Somehow he eludes the pressure. Steps up and fires a strike. There is a penalty flag on the play. I wonder if Lorenzen went past the line of scrimmage. For the moment, the pass complete to Browse.
I think there may be an offensive lineman, number 55, downfield. Donald Thomas. Looked like he was 5 yards downfield.
Ineligible receiver downfield, number 55 on the offense. 5-yard penalty from the line of scrimmage. Repeat, second down.
Good call, Coach. That was Donald Thomas, too far down the field.
What happens, an offensive lineman, sometimes when a play action pass and it goes for a long time, you lose contact, and all of a sudden you lose a feel for where you're at and you get past that line of scrimmage.
Yeah, he was even with the receiver out there.
He wanted to catch the ball.
So it negates a nice play, makes it 2nd and 11. Lorenzen steps up in the pocket. Now he'll run with it. He's got some room. Lorenzen's got a first down to the 31.
This is what he can do to you. He can hurt you throwing the football, but he's 6'5", 230 pounds. So when you get to him, you can't bring him down. He's pretty fast, and he's smart, and he gets up the field and picks up a big first down.
Well, you know, he's run the ball very, very well. 92 times for over 200 yards. And when you factor in for a quarterback, you have to factor in the sack yardage into their rushing totals. It could be a holding call here to bring this run from Dixon.
That's coming back.
Number 64 on the offense. 10-yard penalty from the line of scrimmage. Repeat, first down.
Dennis Hennigan, our referee tonight from the Big East. I think Randy Edsall upset his team with a lot of penalties. That's uncharacteristic for UConn this year. They have been relatively penalty free. Look at that. 2nd fewest in the Big East. 2nd fewest to West Virginia. But not so tonight. Tonight they have been penalized. And that brings it all the way back to the 41 where it makes it 1st and 20. Already 25 yards of penalties called against UConn tonight. And pressure coming, and that time Lorenzen just got rid of the ball.
Tyler Lorenzen saying to the referee, hey, I got rid of the football, and they belted me. They did hit him. It bordered on whether it was late or not.
That's the other thing about Lorenzen, Coach, is at 6'5", 225, even if you get to him, tough to bring him down.
Oh, it is tough, and that's what Randy Edsall said when they were looking at the junior college tapes, that nobody could bring him down, and they couldn't sack him.
What sealed the deal is when they brought Lorenzen on campus, and they just had a conversation with him, and right away they said, this is our guy. Just the way he carried himself, his Midwest values growing up in Iowa. Of course, he went to Iowa State originally. That's where his dad played. That's where his grandpa played. They made him a wide receiver with the Cyclones, and he said, you know what, I don't really want to be a wide receiver. So he took the extra effort to go out to San Diego, and he kind of recreated his career.
Palomar Junior College, and he said, I'm no receiver, I'm a quarterback. And Iowa State may have made a mistake. I don't want to say may. They did make a mistake.
Well, 3rd and 20 here. Lorenzen on a draw. He gets outside, stays on his feet, and gets it all the way down to the 25-yard line.
And what Greg Schiano is going to tell his defense, say, hey, you're taking bad angles at Tyler Lorenzen. He's got better speed than you think he has.
A 15-yard run there, still 4th and 5, but now you're back in field goal range.
Big big run by Lorenzen to get him this opportunity.
A 44-yard attempt officially. Tony Cheruvino, his longest this year, 50, and again now the wind at his back. The kick is up, it's true, and it is long enough. So Cheruvino, who missed an extra point, redeems himself with a field goal of 44 yards here, and UConn back on top by 8. So Tony Cheruvino with the field goal, but credit that to Tyler Lorenzen. That run put him in field goal range. Well, Husky fans are coming out of the woodwork. Still more room, they say, on this wagon, isn't there? UConn up 11-3 right now. Hey, for up-to-the-minute news on everything that's college sports, simple. Just go to ESPNU.com. It's an online service. It's a gateway to the best in college sports. All the content from ESPN, combining the latest news, scores, features, video highlights, podcasts, and much more. Now, if you don't have ESPNU on your cable system, here's how to do it. Just go on to ESPNU.com and then type in your zip code at the top of the page, or call your local cable operator or satellite provider. Log on to ESPNU.com today. It's Desi Cullen, the punter, who does the kickoff chores for UConn. He boots this one right to the goal line where it's fumbled. Picked up by Tim Brown. Now he's scrambling for his life and brought down at the 10. A flag comes in. Block in the back. That'll take him half the distance to the goal.
During the return, illegal block in the back, number 29 on the return team. Penalty is half the distance to the goal from the spot of the foul. First down.
It's going to put it on the 2.
Yeah, Coach, for all you ESPNU viewers out there, why do you want to get ESPNU? Here's why. Look at this month of November alone. 79 live events, 5 different sports, lots of college football. College basketball is now underway, plus exclusive coverage of the NCAA selection shows for college football and women's volleyball. So you want to make sure you get ESPNU now.
Plus, Inside the Polls.
That's right. Your show every Monday night.
Great show.
It is a terrific show. We'll get to Lowell Galindo and the L train here in a little bit. So backed up all the way to the 3-yard line. And now movement, back him up some more. Wow.
Dave, you were talking about the wagon.
Snap. False start. Number 72 on the offense. Penalty is half the distance to the goal. It remains first down.
The wagon here in Connecticut is full. I mean, you look at the stadium there. These people are in love with the Connecticut program. Connecticut's the second fastest team to go from 1AA to the top 25. Marshall being the top team got there the fastest.
Now, Fladel, he was the one that moved. And when you're 6'8", 320, people tend to notice when you move. Ray Rice brought down at the 5. One of the things UConn wants to do with Rice tonight, try to stifle him, gang tackle him. Coach Edsel was telling us yesterday that, hey, look, you can't bring him down with one guy. You need to bring 2 or 3 guys to try to bring him down.
Plus, he gets stronger as the game goes on.
Yeah. He's a little guy as far as his height, only 5'9", but that low center of gravity, Coach, makes him very, very difficult. Those legs keep churning. He is a really tough man to bring down. And that 150-yard run earlier, over 50 yards on the ground for Rice. Here he goes again. He finds a hole, tripped up though. Good play from the secondary as Dana DeLeston comes in. Well, here is UConn story. You mentioned Marshall. They do it in 2 years and 4 weeks. Of course, South Florida, they go from Division II to Division 1A. And in 6 years, 3 weeks, they get ranked. But here is UConn. And you know what? This is a team that looks like they've got some staying power because this is a very young team.
Young team. Both these teams are young football teams.
So So far, Rutgers tonight 0 for 2 on 3rd down. Facing a 3rd and 5 here. In motion, Underwood. Play action. They throw it out on the wing, but way short of the 1st down marker. And it'll bring up a 4th down as Tyvon Branch was right there defensively.
Now you're punting. Jeremy Ito has had 1 blocked. You're into the wind, so this is the best of all circumstances for the Huskies right here.
Coach, Ito's already had 1 block. Is he concerned about that right now?
Oh, yes. You're going to be thinking about getting it off quicker.
Especially from your own end zone. In fact, he moved sideways to get it off. Now they're just going to let the ball roll free. Good roll for Rutgers. It goes across midfield, but again, great field position for UConn.
Rutgers, I like what they did. They changed their protection. They moved Ito a little bit, got a little bounce on the movement, and but you're right. Connecticut's great field position.
Great field here too. Rensselaer Field in East Hartford, Connecticut. He's Mike Gottfried. Melissa Knowles is freezing down on the sidelines. I'm Dave Armstrong. Rutgers, they lead the series overall. They've won the last 2, but UConn, they had a string there where they won 3 in a row up until the last couple of years.
This might be a time where you want to lay one out. Deep pass right here. Play action.
Play action, not real deep, but deep enough. Pass is caught. And taking it down to the 20 or 34-yard line is Terrence Jeffers, a 20-yard gain.
I like to call because when you got the wind at your back, use it. Use the chance to get the ball out. Jeffers is a very good receiver. Curl route.
Just
30 receptions.
Found a seam in there between the zone, didn't he?
Just sat down against 2 deep.
Run here for Donald Brown. What a luxury for UConn this year. Donald Brown started the year as their lone setback, and then they went to Andre Dixon, and they complement each other pretty well.
7 rushing TDs for Brown last year, 5 already this year.
Brown more of the power runner. Dixon a little bit better receiver and also a little bit quicker out of the backfield. But Dixon last week, he touched the ball 35 times, and in Coach Edsall's words, that's just too many times for him. No gain there. 2nd and 10. Play action again. Lorenzen looking deep. Wide open. Touchdown! Terrence Jeffers!
The strategy when you got the wind at your back, let the ball go, use it, throw the deep pass. Jeffers again against 2 deep coverage, get in between the corner and the safety. Lorenzen found him, delivered the football, TD,
and the extra point is good. UConn taking advantage, coach, of the wind at their back, and Tyler Lorenzen getting the congratulatory call from upstairs as Lorenzen 34 yards on this touchdown pass.
Wind at their back, Dave, you talked about, but also great field position. Lorenzen is a smart quarterback. You can't give him this kind of look on 2 deep coverage. He's going to find the open receiver. He had plenty of time. His offensive line protected him. Had a good play fake. Delivers the football. Had his head on the swivel.
4 for 7 for that man for 77 yards. He completes a 54-yard drive in just 3 plays. It took just over a minute. It was a 34-yard touchdown play. 4 for 7, 77 yards, and 2 touchdowns tonight.
You know, I've put together a lot of puzzles as a kid, and you know, sometimes you miss a puzzle piece. He's the biggest puzzle piece to this whole football team, and they had a lot of injuries the last 2 years. Gave them a chance to play a lot of young guys. All of a sudden, that's all paid off for Connecticut.
You're right, Coach. I mean, Lorenzen comes in. and he just absolutely solidifies things. They've been looking for a solution at quarterback ever since Dan Orlovsky left this team and went on to play for the Detroit Lions. Ever since then, they've tried a bunch of different guys at quarterback. They've started 4 different ones in as many years, but now they found their man. A fumble of the ball. My goodness, things are unraveling for Rutgers as Dennis Campbell can't hang on to the pigskin. Let's get you now to the studio. Our first report from Lowell Galindo.
Well, Dave, T-Town is going nuts because Bama is leading LSU. John Parker Wilson, 14-yard touchdown strike to Keith Brown. Bama up by 10 in the 3rd.
There's not a little coaching situation there, is there?
There's an old song, Me and My Shadow.
Oh, my.
Right now, Les Miles is in that big shadow.
Boy, he sure is. I'll tell you what, that is going to draw a lot of attention there. So here's Rutgers again starting inside the 10. Talk about a field position game, and it has certainly been that. Good tackle in the secondary by Darius Butler, but another good run here for Ray Rice as he gets it up to the 15, a 9-yard run.
Yeah, Rutgers is 42 scoring drives this year, 21 coming 2 minutes or less, so they can score quickly.
Give me your analysis. Rutgers starting position, own 17, own 15, own 2, own 6. Good or not good?
No, it's not good. And when the kickoff comes down, let it go through the end zone. Let's start on the 20.
Rice flanked out as a wide receiver. Oh my, what a stick there as Tyquan Underwood caught the ball and then probably regretted it. Lawrence Wilson, what a stick there.
Lawrence Wilson, you know where he's from? Paul Bryan High School in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Now, you figure all the coaching problems at Alabama, he may have slipped out of there because they didn't have everything together at Alabama.
There he is from Alabama all the way to Storrs, Connecticut. Rice trying to get some yards. Boy, he is a marked man right now. A gain of only 1. Again, there's Wilson on the stop. You know, they have those big hits like that. They have a sledgehammer award here. They give it out for really, really big hits. It's literally a sledgehammer, and they will engrave your name on it and say, good hit. That's a sledgehammer hit. That was started by Randy Edsel. We're coming back in a moment to East Hartford with UConn leading 18-3.
ESPNU Coaches Spotlight, Tuesdays at 1, only on ESPNU.
Now, Greg Schiano, the head coach of Rutgers, glad to get out of that first quarter, trailing only 18-3. Now the wind at his back, coach, and that has made a huge difference so far in field position in this game.
It really has. The benefits have been great for Connecticut because they've had the ball right around the 50-yard line. You look at the first down first quarter comparisons, own 48, own 10 for Rutgers. So Rutgers glad that quarter's over.
Absolutely. Now they start the second quarter with Jabu Lovelace again behind center, filling in for Mike Teal. They've gone to a two-headed attack here at quarterback. And again, Lovelace has been running the ball well, trying to run it here. And this time UConn waiting for him. The game's only a couple. Let's get you back to LG. The L train rolls on from Sports Center U.
Well, Dave, LSU was not amused by that Bama touchdown we just saw, so the Tigers come right back. Matt Flynn to Demetrius Byrd, like the L train. They're just rolling. LSU trails by 3.
So Les Miles answers.
Yeah, Alabama's had a team. They have suspended 5 guys for the books, and they're limited on the numbers, so they give up some points in the fourth quarter.
Now on this 3rd and 8 situation, Mike Teal back in at quarterback. Teal looking across the middle of the field, and he finds a wide open Kenny Britt. Good pass as Britt gets it up to the 46-yard line. That was right on target from Teal to Britt.
It really was. Kenny Britt's been a big play wide receiver all year. He's made 11 catches of 25 yards or more, so he's been the big play wide receiver for Rutgers.
Scott Luttress was in the area, and a little surprised he might not have picked that one off. He already has 4 interceptions from his linebacker spot this year. 3-yard gain there. Now Rice stood up after a gain of only a couple.
It's an important drive for Rutgers early in this football game. Now you change sides, you get the wind at your back. You need to open it up a little bit and throw the ball downfield.
We know what it does for you physically, Coach. What does it do for a team emotionally to have the wind at their back?
Oh, mentally, I'm sure those kick returners on the kickoff are saying, hey, it's good, it's over.
Yep. Play action again, back out to Britt. Britt does a little dancing and has enough for the first down as he gets it inside the 45. Lawrence Wilson finally makes the stop, but they'll move the chains, a gain of 8.
You like a receiver that can catch the ball, gather his feet, make some cuts, and move north and south while he's making those cuts, and that's what Britt did.
Looks like they might be measuring here, but I've already given him the first down, so save the time.
Well, if they made it, give it to him.
So they'll come out and measure just for good measure. I think he's got it, though. Never a doubt.
See, you were right.
No doubt about it.
2020. I like the fact of Mike Teal battling injuries. A winner. Stays in there, hangs in there, throwing the football pretty accurate here in the first half.
Yeah, when we talked to Shiano earlier this week, Coach, I mean, you could almost just feel his own pain, feeling for his own quarterback.
He's proud of his quarterback.
He's 6 for 9, Teal, for 60 yards. 4 of those passes have gone to Britt, who has 54 of those 60 yards through the air. Now back to the proven commodity, Ray Rice. Rice, a couple of more. Again, you can see UConn, they're really zeroing in on Rice, and why not? That's a good game plan.
Yeah, Danny Lansana, the linebacker, and we saw him against Pittsburgh, number 48. I think he's one of the best linebackers I've seen all year. Active, he runs sideline to sideline, he takes it on, head up. Pretty good player.
Yeah, Lansana anchors the middle of that defense for UConn. Now a 2nd and 9. Empty backfield. Coming out of that backfield is Britt. He breaks a tackle, has another first down to the 32-yard line. That's an 11-yard gain. Britt seems determined. He dropped a pass in the end zone last week against West Virginia. He seems determined to put that behind him.
If Britt makes this catch, picks up another couple yards downfield, Ray Rice was right there, made a block for him. You like that out of an All-American running back. He's going to block downfield.
Now Rice, and again, not much room to run in the middle. It's a yard, maybe a little more, but Dan Davis was right there defensively. The field conditions, I wonder what they're like here tonight. Remember, it rained earlier today. For more on that, here's Melissa Knowles.
But the guys keep digging up big pieces of the grass just like this, so it's hard for them to get a grip, and they're slipping and sliding a little bit all over the place, guys.
All right, thanks a lot. Rice, last time he was here at Rensselaer Field playing on the grass, he ran very, very well. He went for 217 yards on the ground against UConn. This time he acts as a receiver. He's got it all the way down to the 19-yard line for yet another first down.
When you said that, Dave, I was thinking the screen pass or the delayed Ray Rice, let him get outside the traffic. All the defensive people are keying on him when he's a tailback. Let him be a receiver.
First game of the year for Rutgers on grass, but you could see since 2005, since that win here at Rensselaer Field in 05, they're 5-1. They don't mind playing on the grass. So now here's Rutgers in the red zone. They've been very efficient with 16 touchdowns and 28 attempts. And there's Lansana again, your guy at middle linebacker.
Lansana, a very good basketball player and a running back in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania in high school. You know he's an athlete. He can just cover so much ground as a linebacker.
Look at that, averaging better than 10 tackles per game. Lawrence Wilson, one of the weak side linebackers for UConn. He averages just a little bit more than that. Now Jabu Lovelace back in there. He's in there to run. And he falls forward down to the 11-yard line.
Good changeup. Again, makes you be on your toes as the other coaching staff to know when, who's coming in at the quarterback position. And very soon you'll see Lovelace, I believe, throw a pass.
Yeah,
because everybody's playing the run when he comes in.
You see his numbers on the ground. He's only thrown 6 passes all season. So far on the ground here tonight, he has 23 yards and 4 carries. Into the end zone and right through the hands of Underwood. It might have been tipped, and that might have deflected the ball away from him.
It was a good throw by Mike Teal. Darius Butler was also #1 was in there. Let's see if he touched it. No.
Ooh.
I think he just dropped it.
Underwood dropped 4 passes last week. That one was right in the breadbasket. Should have been 6. A 29-yard attempt here for Ito. He's already connected from 30. Officially, they'll make it 28. The kick is up, and it is good, but Rutgers has to settle for a field goal after it looked like they were going to get 6.
A good drive. Good drive by Rutgers offense.
It started inside their own 10, capped by this 28-yard field goal. And it's 18-6. So Rutgers with a couple of field goals from Ito, one from 31 from 28. UConn with a pair of touchdown passes from Tyler Lorenzen. They lead 18-6. Hey, lace up your skates. It's college hockey time on the U. Sunday as the Army Black Knights take on the Holy Cross Crusaders. College hockey on ESPNU Sunday at 4 Eastern. It won't be long before Army will be able to practice hockey on the Hudson.
Tomorrow. Hey, Dave, right now, Rutgers can change this game around with this kickoff and good defense and get good field position, turn this ball back over to their offense. This is the time you can get the game in control.
Ito handles all the kicking chores. High end over end kick. Taken at the 2. And a break to the outside. Off to the races. Only Ito to beat. All the way in for the score. Tyvon Branch, 98 yards. Wow! That was a good theory, Coach.
Yeah, so much for my thoughts there, but a kickoff return for a TD will ruin those thoughts.
Well, they're going to take a yard off, officially make it a 97-yard return. But Tyvon Branch electrifies this sellout crowd here at Rentschler Field. 97 yards all the way. Great move there, and then only Ito to beat. He does, and Branch makes it 25-6. Tyvon Branch all smiles, and why not? He has been a difference maker in this game. A 97-yard touchdown return. and a 48-yard return earlier in this game.
Dave, I said when we started this telecast about Connecticut, they only have 10 turnovers this year. They forced 22. They don't make mistakes. And then all of a sudden, you flip the field with this kickoff return by Branch. Drives a stake in the heart of Rutgers.
Certainly does. So now let's see if the Rutgers return men can get something going. They've had nothing but trouble. They've been dropping the ball, fumbling it all over the place. In fact, when you look at this game, a line drive kick here from Cullen, taken at the 13-yard line. Little stutter step, and not a huge return, shy of the 30-yard line. Coach, when you look at this game, special teams been a big part of it.
Really has. You start with the block punt by DJ Hernandez. Jeremy Ito was the safety. Now all of a sudden the field position, because the kickoff return guys couldn't hold on to the football. And then the big kickoff return that flipped the field and changed field position, changed the scoreboard.
Wind doesn't matter when you run like that. And Tyvon Branch, 97 yards on the touchdown return there. And UConn in control of this game, 25-6 with 8:52 to go till halftime. Here comes Rice. And again, if you're Rutgers, you really can't go away from your game plan, which is to run Rice, because as you mentioned, Coach, he can wear you down in the second half.
You have to stay with him, because this is early in this football game. Even though the scores, you're down by 19. Mike Teal, I expect him to drive this football team right down the field. Branch got to hold on. Underwood's got to catch passes. You got to get good mix with the run with Ray Rice. Throw the ball to Ray Rice. He has 18 pass receptions, now 19. Throw him the football. Get him out of traffic.
Teal comes in behind center. He changes the play at the line. He moves Rice back. Now he brings in Morales. On play action, hit as he throws. Teal goes down. So too does Kenny Britt as he slips at midfield.
Guess who? Danny Lansana with a good hit on Mike Teal. This guy is a player. Oh, how quick he is. Making up ground.
Man, add a shoulder problem now for Teal to the thumb and the middle finger on the throwing hand.
This guy's an All-American linebacker, Lansana.
Really?
Great player. Really impressed.
Rutgers facing a 3rd and 8. They're just 1 of 5 on 3rd down tonight. Lots of time this time for Teal, and he's got his man right at midfield. Good enough for the 1st down. Again, that's Kenny Britt. He has been the go-to guy.
He has been the go-to guy. He and Underwood just need to hold on early in this football game. A lot of things can happen here. Britt again with a short, skinny post against a 3-deep zone, where you have to break that ball in front of the safety. And Mike Teal with a good delivered football.
The good news, Britt 19 yards and a 1st down there. The bad news, he went off in agony holding that left hand. We'll check on Britt. He has already caught 6 passes in this game. Rice somehow stays on his feet. He picks up 11. Good run for Ray Rice.
And a good mix in the play calling by Greg Schiano right now. Pass, run, and you can't give up on Ray Rice, because Ray Rice is 1 step away from getting a band director ready to play the Rutgers fight song.
Schiano watching Rice over 3 years, over 1,000 yards each year, over 4,000 in his career. And Jabu Lovelace comes back in on this 1st and 10. Rice, by the way, 85 yards in this game. Remember, though, 50 of those came on 1 play. Lovelace again running that draw play, and he gets it down to the 31.
5 yards.
Yep.
You know, a successful play on 1st down is when you gain 4 yards. If you can pick up 5 yards with Lovelace in there as a substitute quarterback, pretty good. You save hits on Mike Teal. Good strategy for Rutgers.
We'll see, though, Coach, if Lovelace throws the ball, that's going to shock UConn, isn't it? Lovelace 5 rushes for 28 yards. high snap. He gathers it in. He'll have the first down and more. Kind of reminds you when he runs the ball, that Florida quarterback.
Tebow.
Tim
Tebow.
Here we are at Rentschler Field in East Hartford, Connecticut. Sold out. More than 40,000 strong, watching UConn and Rutgers with Melissa Knowles, our sideline reporter, and Coach Gottfried. I'm Dave Armstrong. Glad you could be with us as Rutgers and UConn battle here in the Big East. UConn trying to stay perfect in the Big East. They're 3-0. Here's UConn. They were picked 7th in the preseason poll, and they're leading the pack.
That is their first time out of the half.
First time out of the half taken by Rutgers here. So when you look at the Big East after the two games played earlier today, UConn still at 3-0. Rutgers at 2-2. West Virginia the day off. Cincinnati a win over South Florida. How about South Florida? They go from number 2 in the country to losing 3 in a row now. Pitt gets a win today over Syracuse. So Pitt goes to 2-2 on the year in the Big East Conference.
You know, this elevator goes up and it goes down in college football this year. You go from number 2 in the country, maybe with a chance to go to number 1, to 6th in your conference.
Last year, of course, the Big East sent 5 teams to bowl games. All 5 won. It's unprecedented. How many will go out of that pack this year?
Probably 6. And Louisville's the one that's got to do some work yet. But I really believe they're going to have 6 eligible to go to Bose.
Lovelace back in at quarterback. From the shotgun. Again, no secret about it. Lovelace just gets the ball and goes. And he runs behind that strong left side. Pedro Sosa and Mike Fladell. And Lovelace again able to get 4 yards on first down.
What they're doing is pulling the backside guard. When he runs left, Lovelace, he follows Anthony Davis, who's 6'6", 350. Watch number 75, the right tackle. Pull, get up in the hole, and Lovelace just stays behind the big guy.
Davis, just a freshman, Coach, a true freshman. In fact, he didn't turn 18 until less than a month ago. Making his 4th straight start. Now Rice tries to split a seam. He'll have the first down as he gets it down to the 14-yard line before Tyvon Branch can make the stop.
If they can punch this ball in for a touchdown, we got a football game, because all of a sudden they're having confidence in their offense. Right now they're doing a lot of good things. Lovelace, Mike Teal's throwing the football. You got Ray Rice. Brett's catching the football. The offensive line doing a good job.
Biggest difference, Coach, special teams here tonight.
Special teams, you're exactly right.
And that's if you're Rutgers, you got to keep preaching that to your team. Look, guys, we got to quit making mistakes on special teams. Good catch that time by Underwood. Remember, he dropped one in the end zone. That time he had to go up to get it, and it stopped at the 6 by Lansana.
In the gutty performance by Mike Teal. Hurt. Thumb hit it on a helmet, playing hurt, throws the football high, but Underwood made the catch. Tyquan Underwood is a pretty good receiver. 2 plays ago, Ray Rice, all of a sudden you bring in Mike Teal and he runs over people with Ray Rice.
Downtown, Tim Brown went down. Teal, 10 of 15, 112 yards. Now Rice tries to cut it back inside. He does go inside the 5. It's not quite the first down. He'll be about a half a yard shy of the first down marker. Good opportunity, though, here for Rutgers to run the ball. You know, 3rd and 1, you're inside the 5. You probably are going to, if you don't make it here, wouldn't you think they'd go for it?
Good 2 plays early in the game, so you may kick the field goal, but I'm surprised Lovelace not coming in right now.
From the power I. Remember, Rutgers 2 of 6 on 3rd down. This, though, 3rd and short. Rice has got it, and then some, all the way into the end zone for the touchdown. Boy, he followed Morales right into the end zone.
Right, Dave. I'm going to say again what I said before. If they can kick this football down now and hold Connecticut into the win, get the ball back, They still have 2 timeouts left. They could get another score before half. That was an impressive drive, and this is an impressive run by Ray Rice. He is not to be denied.
He isn't. Morales, he stayed on his hip. Morales led the way. Rice with his 14th touchdown of the year, and the extra point from Ito is good. So, Coach, you're right. We've got a ball game all of a sudden. It's 25-13. An impressive drive for Rutgers. They march right down the field. Rice goes in. We've got a game again at 25. Ray Rice, business as usual, having a huge impact on this game. Almost 100 yards on the ground, 4-yard touchdown run there to cap an 11-play, 70-yard drive in 4 minutes 35 seconds. Rice 16 carries today, 97 yards, and that touchdown. So Rutgers gets back within a dozen now, and now it's up to special teams. Last time Ito kicked off with the win, a long kickoff, but it went to Branch, who gathered it in at the 3 and took it all the way in for the score.
Yeah, Rutgers needs to get a good kickoff here. Their defense to take over, get the ball back for their offense to use this win with 4:24 left.
Shorter kick this time. Taken at the 13 by Taylor. Larry Taylor breaks a tackle. Fumbled the ball. It came right back down into his arms. There's a scramble for it. Rutgers says they have it. UConn says they have it.
A lot of pulling going on down there.
Officials trying to separate the players, see who's got control. It'll stay with UConn. And this crowd here at Rentschler Field breathes a sigh of relief. So does that man, Randy Edsall. Turns into a 25-yard return for Larry Taylor.
Larry Taylor almost breaks this again. Greg Schiano's going to talk to his team about poor special teams here in the first half.
So UConn survives what could have been a big error there to really get Rutgers back in this game. Clock at 4:13 to go till halftime. The give here is to Dixon. He's trying to break outside. And let's go downstairs to Melissa Knowles, who has an update on Kenny Britt.
Now, when Kenny Britt walked off the field, you could see he was in a lot of pain. And when they got him seated, it appeared they were looking at his wrist, his left wrist. And now he's up, he's back on his feet, and he just might go right back into this game, guys.
It's good. That's really good news for Rutgers. Here's the play again, a 19-yard reception by Britt. They need him because, Coach, he has been their go-to guy through the air.
Big play, wide receiver.
So good news for Rutgers. It's like he'll be able to come back in when the Scarlet Knights get the ball back. Now this will blow this play dead before it gets started.
Prior to the snap, false start, number 79 on the offense, 5-yard penalty, remains second down.
It's against Mike Hicks, the right tackle.
Well, as important as the wind at your back has been, 28 points scored with it, 10 including a kickoff return into it, but the kickoff return, I'm going to take that out because that wasn't a drive by the offense. So I'm 28-3.
So the wind has played a huge factor, according to those numbers, in this game. Good hit in there by Kevin Mallist, and Dixon falls forward to the 40-yard line. And it'll bring up a 3rd and a long 8.
And here's what you're thinking if you're Greg Schiano right now. You still have 2 timeouts. This is a big 3rd down right here. If you can get them stopped, Connecticut, then you can get the ball back with a lot of time and 2 timeouts.
Schiano, he calls the defensive plays. He is his own defensive coordinator. Told us earlier this week that wouldn't be possible without the rest of his defensive staff. And another flag comes in. Delay a game here. That's 2 penalties. 1 a false move and then a delay of game.
A lot of movement by Rutgers.
Delay of game. Number 4 on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Remains 30
Does that
down.
mess with you as a quarterback?
Yeah, a lot of movement. All of a sudden, Tyler Lorenzen's trying to maybe change the play. You got motion going too at the same time. So when the play gets in late, sometimes that happens.
Sometimes when a quarterback is so smart like Lorenzen, he's really trying to make those last-second adjustments.
Trying to make the right call.
3rd and 13. Lorenzen given time, and that is a forward pass. It's incomplete, intended for Dixon.
Now, Dave, you got 2:27, and you should get fairly good field position. Rutgers' momentum has changed. Now, if they can get this football moved down here and get some points, we got a good football game.
Certainly do. Rutgers still with 2 timeouts remaining and 2:27. That's plenty of time. And again, remember, Desi Cullen, the man who calls himself the Kentucky Hammer, kicking into the wind, and it's a good one. That is hammer time. Boy, and great coverage as well. Let's go to Lowell Galindo. Lowell, we're not too far from halftime. What do you guys have planned for us in the studio?
We got some great stuff, including a Pac-10 showdown as Arizona State and Oregon live up to the hype. Same can be said for the Saban Bowl. We have those highlights in action from the top 25, including a monumental win for a team not in the top 25. That's all coming up at the half.
All right, very good. I wonder if he's talking about Navy.
Oh, that's a big win. And LSU, I was just thinking about Nick Saban. He recruited 17 of those starters for LSU are guys he brought in. So he's seen his old team.
Teal on the screen pass to Rice. Not much blocking in front of Rice. Kind of broke down a little bit, but he's still able to get 5.
Yeah, lofted the ball out to Ray Rice, but Connecticut's defense played it well. Now here's where you need Underwood and Branch right here to make some plays.
Teal, well, he didn't really have anybody open, so he throws it over the head of Kenny Britt. But Britt is in the game for Rutgers, and that is good news for the Scarlet Knights. 3rd and 5 here. Clock stopped with 1:49 to go, and now it kind of flips, doesn't it, Coach? Because UConn's thinking, hey, what? Maybe we can get the ball back.
They might get the ball back, but they still have the wind facing them, so Rutgers should get a good kick. But Mike Teal's thinking one thing: move the change right now. They need a completion.
5 receivers. And the pass is completed. Up past the 40-yard line, there's Kenny Britt again. Britt with an 18-yard grab that time around. That'll stop the clock to move the chains.
Dave, I got to admire Mike Teal. Playing injured, he is leading this football team.
Teal finds the man underneath. That's Underwood. He's across midfield. That's a 9-yard gain on first down. It'll keep the clock moving.
A lot of time. And you still have 2 timeouts in Greg Schiano's pocket.
They dump it off to the back coming out of the field. That's Tim Brown. He goes out of bounds. That'll stop the clock at the 40-yard line.
Tim Brown did a wise thing. Caught the football, got out of bounds, saved the timeout. He fractured his left hand in fall camp. Missed the opener, but has come back to be an integral part of this offense.
Just glad to see he's alive, Coach, after the hit he took from his own teammate, Ray Rice. First down here at the 40. It's Brock, the tight end, in motion. And they get it out to Brock. Nice fingertip grab, and that'll stop the clock as he goes out of bounds at the 33.
This is a good drive by a good college football team and a good quarterback. You work this every day in practice, the 2-minute drill where you need to get down the field to get points. You got coaches will say you got 2 timeouts, you got 1:07 left. Here's where the ball is. Okay, call the plays, make it happen.
Plenty of time now for Rutgers to operate here with those timeouts and over a minute to go. Again, time for Teal, and again he finds his tight end Brock. Brock, his forward progress will get him the first down. That'll stop the clock to move the chains.
And they don't have to use the timeout, just get lined up. Got a lot of time.
Brock staggers back in. Teal sacked. Now they're going to have to use a timeout. And they do. Huge sack inside by Rob Lunn. So Rutgers down to 1 timeout remaining, a 9-yard loss on that sack.
Rob Lunn, his grandfather, I introduced you to him in the lobby there. A proud grandfather. His parents here drive from New York to every game. All the parents, it seems like, are staying at the hotel we're at, Connecticut, and I ran into a bunch of them, and they're happy. They're having a great year, and they feel very comfortable in Randy Edsel and the staff.
No question. Boy, it's hard to sack Teal this year with that great offensive line for Rutgers. But Rob Lunn with his 3rd sack of the year and a big 9-yard loss there. So now you push the ball all the way back to the 36-yard line. They need to get to the 18 for a first down. And right now, even with the wind at your back, you're not in field goal range.
No.
Teal sacked again. Now the flag comes in late, but another sack here. This one from Cody Brown.
Maybe a holding or a face mask.
Huge call against Cody Brown and UConn.
Cody Brown whipped the offensive lineman, got in there.
Grabbing the face mask, number 50 on the defense. 15-yard penalty for the line of scrimmage. First down.
There's a face mask. Brown.
He tried to get his hand off of there in a hurry, but he grabbed it, and that's the 15-yard variety. So now Rutgers back in business with 41 seconds, clock moving, the ball at the 21. Into the end zone they go, and it's incomplete. The pass intended in the end zone to Kenny Britt and overthrown a little bit.
In field goal range, so you can bring the judge in anytime you want. But Mike Teal's thinking about 7. Him and Greg Schiano know they need to punch in a touchdown.
Yeah, the verdict they're looking for is 6, not 3. They dump it off, and a huge hit. Wow. What a hit there by Scott Luttress. That's a sledgehammer, folks, and Tim Brown felt it.
Scott Luttress had 18 tackles versus Louisville, played lacrosse in the high school. He played a little lacrosse with Tim Brown. Wow, watch this hit. Scott Luttress is going to unload with everything he has.
All right, let's listen to the impact. So Tim Brown's trying to figure out right now where he's at, first of all, and then which was the harder hit, that one or the one that he got from his own teammate Ray Rice earlier?
I think that one.
That one, yeah. I agree with you.
Because Ray Rice scored a touchdown, right. So he felt a little bit better about that.
Wow. Luttress, he wasn't recruited by anyone except UConn. And here he is, a redshirt freshman. 4 interceptions this year, almost 70 tackles. Huge impact on this team. One of those interceptions went for a touchdown just last week against South Florida. Now 3rd and 5. No timeouts remaining for Rutgers. Looking into the end zone. No, looking short. The pass is caught by Underwood.
Now you got to spike the ball right here.
And that's what they'll do. And stops the clock with 15 seconds to go. You got a couple cracks at the end zone.
Yeah, I think you have two. You have two. You need to throw it in the end zone right here. This was Mike Teal again with a good throw to his go-to guy, Kenny Brett.
Coach, that's a good point you make. You have to throw it into the end zone here because anything short, you can't stop the clock again.
You'd have to run. If you do get tackled, you're going to have to run your field goal team in or spike the ball if you have time.
Touchdown Rutgers. That goes to Underwood.
I think Ray Rice was moving, though. That may come back.
There is
Looked
a
like
flag.
two guys were moving.
It will come back.
Ray Rice came in a little bit of motion.
Illegal shift. Number 27 on the offense. 5-yard penalty from the line of scrimmage. Repeat the down.
Somebody else had to be moving here. Ray Rice is moving. He'll move out of the backfield, the tailback position. I guess they're saying the wide receiver wasn't set and he was moving too. Now you got about one play.
Into the end zone, too high for Underwood and incomplete. Now you've got to settle for the field goal.
Here comes the judge.
You've been waiting all day to say that. Well, that's Ito, of course, the judge, and this is Jeremy Ito.
You have momentum. If the judge can knock this one through, you end the half on a pretty good note. Absolutely.
And again, you're going to go into that locker room and say, guys, let's clean up special teams. We're right in this game. A 29-yard attempt. Ito 2 for 2 so far. A 30-yarder, a 28-yarder, and now he ends the first half with, wait a minute, there's a flag down, or was there a timeout?
Connecticut.
Timeout, Connecticut. This is a ploy that's become popular this year.
I don't like this rule. I really believe you ought to let the players call the timeout on the field. The coaches, I know Jim Donnan likes the fact that the coach can call on the sideline, but I don't like that. Just, you know, if you get timeout in time, the players do it, it's fine.
It's almost unsportsmanlike conduct, isn't it? Almost.
Borders on it.
So Ito's like, no problem.
Yeah.
I can do it again. I don't know what effect it has on the kickers. You know, of course, in the NFL, they did it in Denver, and it worked.
Oh, it did work. But here's the thing about Randy Edsall. He's still got 2 timeouts. Do you do it again?
And again, they'll line up. This time now at the 19 again. And the timeout, so a 29-yard field goal attempt. 28, 30, and maybe a 29. No whistles. The kick is on its way, and it is good. And a little momentum builder for Rutgers as they go into the locker room.
Yeah, the judge said, use those other timeouts. You're not freezing me.
So the judge gets 3 more on the board. Rutgers goes off, but UConn, they lead 25-16 as we get you to Lowell Galindo in Sports Center U. So with that now, Rutgers, they have to kick off to start the second half. I think this third quarter is going to be very important for the Scarlet Knights because they have the wind at their back. And the thing that we have noticed in this game, 90% of the scoring has come when you've had the wind at your back.
Right, and they all of a sudden now, again, Rutgers got momentum at the end of the first half. Now their defense needs to build on it.
Here's Taylor from the end zone. Oh, excuse me, that was Branch, and he slipped down, and it rained earlier today. He slipped down at the 15. Melissa Knowles had a chance to catch up with both coaches at the halftime. Melissa, what'd they have to say?
That's right. Coach Edsel told me, you know, his guys are doing a good job of putting points on the board, but they're doing a horrible job of killing themselves with penalties. So they got to watch it on the penalties. On the other side of the ball, Coach Greg Schiano said, you know what, we've done just about everything that you can do wrong in that first half. But we're still in this, and if we keep pushing and playing hard, we might win. Guys?
All right, thanks. He's right on that. They are still in it. Down 25-16 as we begin the second half. Tyler Lorenzen, a very good, solid first half for UConn. Again, one of the things about UConn, they just rarely beat themselves. Pass out on the wing to Taylor. Taylor gets it across the 20 up to the 23.
Dave, I'm sure both coaches told their teams at halftime this drive is going to be very important, the opening drive of the third quarter. You look at that field position, Connecticut on the Rutgers 44-yard line and their own 14 where they started from.
But did you see the numbers there, Coach? They're staggering with the total number of plays that Rutgers ran versus what UConn ran, the total number of yards in the first half. If you just looked at that and didn't know the score, you would think, outside of field position, Rutgers dominated the first half.
Special teams, that was it. The wind has been a factor. With the wind at your back, I got 31 points to 3. With the wind at your back. I'm not counting the kickoff return because that would be a drive. I'm counting all the drives of the offense.
Here's a 3rd and 3. Lorenzen trying to force that ball into Terrence Jeffers. It was in Jeffers' lap, but he couldn't hang on.
Now, if you're Greg Schiano, you said, you know, we've stopped these guys right now. We'll get the wind at our back. All the offenses have got good field position when they get the wind at their back, and they've been able to score.
So Rutgers with those 13 points with the wind at their back. Remember the punt from Cullen the first time into the wind went for 46 yards. This one much shorter. And coming up to make the catch is Dennis Campbell as he stumbles across. And look at the field position.
Right away, Rutgers starts now just like Connecticut started on their first drive with great field position. Now the offense, Mike Teal and Ray Rice, and those guys got to keep putting the pressure on Connecticut, because in the fourth quarter, Connecticut's going to have that win.
How about Rice's numbers in that first half, Coach? 97 yards. Of course, 50 of that came on one run, but still, that's an impressive first half of football.
He's earned the yardage.
He really has, because he has had a target on his back this entire game. Teal goes back to throw. He wants it all on first down. That ball up for grabs and knocked away. Pass intended for Kenny Britt, and a really good play by Darius Butler, who Coach Edsel says is their best cover guy.
He was right there, stride for stride. Darius Butler uses his left hand, knocks the ball away. Look at this coverage. He comes out of his break, right hand, he knocks the ball away.
That's perfect coverage by Darius Butler. Perfect coverage. So 2nd and 10. In motion, Tim Brown. Rice tried to go right. That hole was sealed in a hurry. No gain.
Big 3rd down right here from Mike Teal. Now, when you go for the long pass on first down, you don't hit it. And then you come back on 2nd down, they're going to play the run on Ray Rice. Now you have to, quarterback's down is 3rd down. If you're going to move the chains, a quarterback has to be at his best to move the chains and keep drives alive.
Schiano has to go to page 2 of his playbook to come up with a 3rd and 10 play. And you see they're 5 of 9 tonight. They were just 1 for their first 5, so better of late. And that pass knocked away again. It's Butler. 2 great defensive plays by Butler.
How about this? The Butler did it. Darius Butler again with good coverage, and he backpedals. He sits on the route there. He knew it was going to be a short route. They were trying to get the first down. He wasn't worried about getting beat deep. He broke on the ball, again, did a good job.
Rutgers wastes great field position. They've got a punt. 3 and out. Only 2 punts so far for Ito. The first one blocked. The second one for 46 yards. He'll try to pooch this one inside the 20. That's exactly what he does. Takes a big forward roll and then picked up. Picked up by Larry Taylor. Did he try a fair catch?
Must have had his knee on the ground.
Okay.
It's the only thing I know, because he moved after if he did make a fair catch.
Yeah.
I think it's his knee was on the ground.
So Farmer down. It'll start at the 5 as we look at that coverage one more time. Yeah, there's the knee down right there. Greg Schiano, not only the head coach at Rutgers, also the defensive coordinator, puts his defense out on the field, trying to keep UConn pinned back near their own end zone. Don't forget, coming up on the U later tonight, the Tigers of Jackson State take on Alabama A&M. It's college football primetime, presented by City tonight, 10:30 Eastern here on the U. Yeah, there's the U. I'm not sure he was meant to do the U, but he knows what he's doing. Early convert. There goes Dixon. Nice move to the outside, but cannot elude the tackle. Only gains a couple of yards as the hit made over on the far side by Lawrence Wilson.
Dave, Connecticut has owned the third quarter, outscoring their opponents 69-19 in the third quarter.
Wow. Ron Geralt, on that last stop. Now 2nd and 7. The more the clock ticks, though, here, Coach, in the third
win
quarter.
for Connecticut.
Right. If they can just get through this third quarter and not have the score change. Again, Lorenzen hit as he throws there, incomplete. Now 3rd and 7. And so far, UConn 0 for 3rd down tonight.
And the game they lost, they won for a 13 against Virginia on 3rd down. There's the pressure. Good pressure by Eric Foster.
The All-American. So 3rd and 7 here. 0 for 3 UConn on 3rd down tonight. Lorenzen 5 for 11 for 84 yards and 2 touchdowns. On the draw play, this will lose yardage. Dixon, but he was stopped immediately by the middle linebacker Munoz.
You just feel more comfortable with the wind at your back to be able to throw the ball downfield.
That's a metaphor for life right there. That's deep, Coach.
I've been deep. I'm going to go deeper.
The great philosopher, Socrates, Aristotle, Gottfried. Another short kick here by Cullen. Taken at the 40-yard line by Campbell, and he stopped at the 30. What field position here for Rutgers. Only a 37-yard punt and a 10-yard return. And don't forget, for all the latest news on everything that is college sports, here's your source, folks. It's ESPNU.com. All the latest, everything you can get from ESPN, plus all the latest from our own brilliant staff. It's ESPNU.com. Now, if you don't have ESPNU, make sure you log on to ESPNU.com. Type in the zip code at the top of the page. You can call your local cable operator or satellite provider. Get ESPNU today. Jabu Lovelace in at quarterback. They go for the change of pace again. Jabu in there to run, tripped up a little bit, but still falls forward. A good gain on 1st down, a gain of 8 down to the 22.
Greg Schiano, I like the way he's calling the game. All of a sudden you get the ball and you 3 and out with good field position. He wants to change up right now. I think this is going to be an option where Jabu Lovelace will try to pitch the ball to Rice.
Keep it himself. A 1st down inside the 20, down to the 17.
As long as that's working, you stay with it.
Yeah.
And that's what Greg Schiano's going to do. He's got Mike Teal on the sideline.
Always change a losing game, never change a winning game.
Wouldn't be surprised he gets this ball to Ray Rice here.
See, that's my philosophy, Coach. Not as deep as yours. And again, inside the 15.
What was your philosophy again?
Always change a losing game, never change a winning game. Yeah, not as good. Yeah. You can't write a book off of that one.
There was a song about mine, Wind Beneath Your Sail, Wind Behind Your Sails.
Somewhere. In your sails, somewhere. Yeah. Propelling your boat. Loveless again. Not much doing that time, down to the 10-yard line. It's going to bring up a 3rd and a long 2. They need to get to the 7 for a first down. Just inside, actually just inside the 8, between the 8 and the 7. Loveless is going to stay in there to do it. You might be, I don't know, maybe in 2-down territory. Who knows? You're down 9, maybe not.
Depends what you get here. If you get close to a yard or where you have 4th and a half yard, but if you kick the field goal, you're now behind by 6. But
again, you're fighting the wind, you're fighting the clock. You wanted to get back in this game, at least dead even going into that 4th quarter. A little pass play.
Underthrew it.
He sure did. That was wide open into the end zone, but it was incomplete, intended for Rudanovic.
Now you kicked the field goal. You knew that he was going to throw the football. This looks like a Tim Tebow jump pass, but he didn't get enough on it. He'd like to have that back. Hey, throw the ball. He was jumped in the air. He couldn't get anything on the ball.
Well, Ito, he's been all over it. Look at this, 30, 28, 28. This one from 27. He's kicked from almost the same spot on the field all night long. And the same result, his 4th field goal of the night.
They creep closer in this football game.
Inch and ever closer now, within 6, 25-19. Back to East Hartford in a moment. Well, Rutgers keeps inching closer and closer and closer with 4 field goals from the judge, Jeremy Ito. 25-19, kicking in colder and colder weather. What's the conditions down there like, Melissa?
Since the start of this game, I think it's actually gotten about 5 degrees colder, but I don't think the Rutgers team is feeling that at all. If you take a look at their benches over here, they are heated. Not only do they heat their bottoms, they can heat their feet, and they can keep their helmets warm. So when they're getting off the field, they're not staying cold. They're not going to strain any muscles because they're staying really warm. I wish I could sit down over there, guys.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Look at, they put the helmets up there and keep the helmets warm. So, you know, that's a whole new meaning to the word bench warmer.
That is, but a whole new meaning to field position. In the first half, the home 15. Now they've had 2 times on Connecticut's 44 and 30.
From the 3-yard line, Branch, oh boy, he almost busted outside again. Branch with 2 scintillating returns in this game. One 97 yards and a touchdown. The other one 48 yards. Morales, he saved Rutgers there.
Now if you're Connecticut, offensively, you got to get something going. Andre Dixon, we haven't talked much about him since the first quarter. They need to get the ball back in his hands or Donald Brown. Boy, the total yards in this game, Rutgers dominating, but special teams huge. A kickoff for a touchdown, a safety tonight. That cost Rutgers 9 points. Good run here by Brown. Nice gain on first down, a gain of 8, almost 9. Does 2 things, Dave. When you run the ball, you're going to move that clock, and then you're going to get the win quicker. But you need to establish some toughness right now. Connecticut, Donald Brown comes in, follows a good block right there by Donald Thomas. The big guy, 6'3", 300 pounds. He was running. Senior, the only senior on that line. One of only 2 seniors on offense. That's the thing, too, about
UConn this year, Coach, they have been steady. The offense has changed very little. The defense, same 11 starters all year long.
No injuries. I mean, they just have been healthy. This would be a good place on 3rd down right here. 3rd and short to spread out and let Tyler Lorenzen run for this first down.
0 for 4 on 3rd down for UConn tonight. Play action pass completed for the first down. Terrence Jeffers will move the chains. He gets it up to the 43 before Munoz could stop him.
I like the call because you keep the ball in Tyler Lorenzen's hands. What this is a play action pass. Jeffers just ran a short curl route, picked up the first down. You just run to the stakes, curl up, let Lorenzen throw you the ball. Keep that clock moving if you're Connecticut.
Again, play action. Lorenzen goes up top. Pass is caught. What a catch in traffic by Steve Browse. Right up over the back of Rincart.
Corner route by Steve Browse. And Tyler Lorenzen drops the ball right in the window. Good play faked again. Lorenzen gets a lot on this football, just drops it over the helmet of the defender.
Coach, you played quarterback. What adjustments as a quarterback do you have to make with the wind conditions like they are tonight?
Well, it's tough. You don't want to hang it too high because the wind's going to hold it up. So you have to put it more on a line drive throw.
Do you have to adjust from one quarter to the next?
Yeah, you really do.
So the touch is really affected on a pass.
It is, and that's why I like what they did with Jeffers on that curl route. That's a short throw. You keep the pass low, completion.
Rincart with a tackle there, a loss of 3. 2nd and 13. Lorenzen again, and a little bit of entanglement there. DJ Hernandez tried to come inside. No flag. Devin McCourty was right there defensively.
Yeah, Devin McCourty did a nice job of covering Hernandez.
So now a 3rd and 13. You're out of field goal range here, especially into the wind. You'd be around a 50-yarder, and I don't think you'd chance that into the wind here. You see UConn, they were 0 for 4. They just converted their last 3rd down, but that was 3rd and short. This one much tougher. Nice draw play for the first down and more. All the way to the house. Donald Brown. Wow. 33 yards. His 6th touchdown of the year.
Dave, you talked about it. 3rd down, long yardage. They ran. Donald Brown never got touched. The offensive line did it. Right side did a great job of blocking Rutgers. Rutgers was looking for the pass all the way.
That's a call, isn't it? Because that's where you just fool the opposition.
That's a good call and a good drive by the Huskies.
The extra point good from Churavino. So not only do you buy time on a nice long drive, but you also put 7 points on the board. Donald Brown, a 33-yard touchdown run. Well, Donald Brown has been a real spark plug in this second half for UConn, and a 33-yard touchdown run there. UConn now leads it 32-19. That caps a 74-yard drive in 7 plays, and they ate up just about 3 minutes on the clock.
Into the wind. Randy Edsel said last week about Dixon, his starting tailback, he may have ran him too much. So he inserts Donald Brown in here late in the first half, and then opens up with Donald Brown in the 3rd quarter and a big run.
High end-over-end kick here for Cullen. Short kick taken at the 23-yard line. And room to run here. Nice return. A return of 18 yards by that was Tyquan Underwood with the return there. He is not normally one of their return guys, but he grabbed that one in, and good field position again with that wind at your back. So here comes Ray Rice, who rushed for almost 100 yards in the first half. Teal back in there at quarterback. We've seen both Teal and Lovelace tonight. Now Rice. Good move to the outside. Somehow keeps his footing across midfield. He goes down to the 43-yard line. Nice pickup on first down. He'll move the chains before Darius Butler could make the stop.
He is a good back, and when you look at Ray Rice, he keeps his footing here. He takes the football and goes backside. Now watch him put his hand down. You teach running backs. You have a drill like that where you put your hand down.
No gain here. Rice stuffed right at the line.
I like what Greg Schiano said about Ray Rice. He said he always deflects the praise. Everybody says you're a great back. He said, no, I have a great offensive line, great quarterback, great receivers. He doesn't like the praise, but he always tells Greg Schiano, I want the ball. Give me the football.
Last year he was the MVP coach in the Texas Bowl, and during his acceptance he brought the entire offensive line and his fullback up on the platform. He said, I'm nothing without these guys. He said they share this award with me, and he meant it. I mean, some guys just say that, it's lip service. He means it. There's a good pass to Underwood, who's forced out of bounds by Butler, but he gets all the way down to the 22-yard line.
I knew when I saw Rutgers come out, they moved Ray Rice up close to the line of scrimmage for protection's sake. So I knew it was going to be a pass. When you see the tailback really cheat up in his alignment, you know they were trying to get him up the field to work on protection, and Branch has been a go-to guy.
Fake to Rice, across the middle, too high. Boy, wide open was Jack Corcoran, the fullback, coming out of the backfield.
Against too deep. You take the fullback, he replaces the tight end against too deep, and you run him out of the backfield behind the linebackers in front of the safeties. And watch Cochran. As he comes out here, he needs to get behind the linebacker. He does. Safeties can't cover it, but too high on the throw by Mike Teal.
I was watching Lawrence Wilson, the linebacker. He was kind of confused there. Should I stay with a fullback or go? Well, and then he was kind of in no man's land. Rice hit hard at the 20. He'll fall forward all the way down to the 16-yard line.
Another big third down play, because you can't, if you're Rutgers, you can't keep exchange at 3 for 7.
That's right. Yeah, the math on that doesn't work out in your favor.
No.
Teal.
I was not very good in math, but I know that.
Ray Rice, look at his numbers here tonight. Teal, good numbers as well, 19 of 30, over 200 yards for Teal. Again, here they are in the red zone where they've stumbled a little bit. They've settled for 4 field goals, Rutgers. All of them 30 yards or less. This one batted down at the line of scrimmage. It was a low pass. Cody Brown was right there defensively. And now 4th down, and here comes that field goal unit one more time.
Greg Schiano has faked some field goals and faked a punt earlier in the year, but I think he kicked this one.
Ito, this will be his longest attempt of the night, 34 yards. You see so far 30, 28, 28, 27. Attempt on its way, and it is no good. He missed it right.
And the students are going to take credit for that. They were making noise in the end zone.
Students are all high-fiving themselves. It's the 12th man. So not only are you exchanging 7 for 3, you're exchanging 7 for 0, and the math on that is really bad.
And the clock with the win.
With this one,
just sliced it to the right.
And this is where some people are saying in college football they'd like to see higher goalposts. Your opinion on that?
No, still no good. Even if you
put it up to infinity, huh?
Yeah.
Put it up to the moon. Well, we're seeing Donald Brown. He has replaced Andre Dixon here in the second half. What do you think of this move?
I think it's a great move. You have a fresh horse, and he's running real well. Just feed him.
He's come out of the stall here in the second half, and on the bench, Andre Dixon. Fighting through tackles. He gets it up to the 34. That's a first down. A gain of 7.
You know, Donald Brown has really sparked the team, and something might be wrong with Dixon, because, you know, when your team's playing this well and you're sitting on the bench, something's wrong.
Was a play earlier in this game, the end of that first half, Coach, where a pass intended for Dixon, overthrown a little bit by Lorenzen, and we both saw Dixon kind of gesture back at Lorenzen as if to say, hey, get it here, you know. And I don't know, I mean, we're speculating here.
Well, he could be trying to stay warm, could be hurt, but you don't sit on the bench when your offense is out there. You get in the game, and so something's wrong here.
It's Eric Foster who's down on the field. Eric Foster, the extremely talented senior captain, All-American. The absolute guts of this Rutgers team, the emotional leader. In his senior year, he is a guy certain to play on Sundays. And boy, is it good to see him walk off the field. Now jog off the field. That's even better. First All-American at Rutgers since '76. Great player, came back for his senior year. I'd like to reward those guys with an injury-free senior campaign. Donald Brown has made a huge difference for UConn here in the second half as he runs hard around that right side again, up across the 35, up to the 38-yard line before Ron Gerald could make the stop. Brown had only 5 yards total in the first half. In the second half, he has 55 yards, so 60 yards for the game.
Yeah, and he's been the spark, and he's kept this clock moving as Connecticut's going into the win. He's reducing this time.
Lorenzen steps up. Now he can run it. He'll have the first down and more. Dives right to midfield. So they'll move the chains again. UConn really starting to take control of this game.
Lorenzen is the key to this offense. When he sits back here, he goes back, he makes a great fake, first of all. Now he knows nothing's open. He's going to get what he can get, pick up the first down, go down. He's a smart, heady football player.
Coach, you had players, I'm sure, somewhat like a Lorenzen, who come in from day one and just kind of assume a leadership role with the team.
Something about him, because he came in from junior college, and I was talking to a couple of the coaches. They said he wore a glove, and he was throwing the ball, and he said he couldn't throw at all. And all of a sudden, he took this glove off, and all of a sudden, he just took off. And the players believed in him. And he has that good personality. They know he's a leader. They believe in him. and he just hit it right. It was a good move by the Connecticut Randy Edsall to go to Palomar Junior College and get him as a starter.
And then to have a DJ Hernandez, who started at quarterback last year, come in and immediately bond with Tyler Lorenzen. And here come the flags in on this play. There'll be a penalty against McCourty. But the bond that Hernandez and Lorenzen, you know, that speaks volumes about DJ Hernandez and his character.
It really does, because all of a sudden you're the quarterback.
Defense. Ball be placed at the spot of the foul. First down.
One day Randy Edsall said, I'd like to see DJ, you're going to move to wide receiver, and you do it with a good attitude. And what that means is everybody's buying into Randy Edsall's program. They're a part of the team.
Yes.
When you can separate yourself and say it's not about me, it's about the team, you win.
Right now, DJ Hernandez over on the bench. 1st and 10 here. Brown again on the right side. Another huge gain on first down. They're really running around that right side with authority right now.
A lot of people, Dave, feel like Connecticut's not as good as their record states, but they've been beaten by Virginia, had a controversial win against Temple. But I'll tell you, based on we've seen them twice against Pittsburgh and here tonight, they're for real. They're a good, solid football team.
When you are a team like UConn and you haven't had a great deal of success in your history, you have to almost go out and prove it. And really, when you look at Coach Edsall and this Husky team, they almost like the role of the underdog. They like that chip on their shoulder that they have right now. They are not getting carried away with their successes. Lorenzen gets carried away all the way down to the 10-yard line, stays in bounds here too, which will run out the clock in the 3rd quarter.
Here's another point about Tyler Lorenzen. He knows Rutgers plays a lot of man coverage, which means a lot of DBs and linebackers are going to be running with receivers and running backs with their back to the ball. And Tyler Lorenzen knows that. So when he goes back and he sees nothing's open, he knows he can run the football because everybody is in man coverage.
That was a great 3rd quarter for the Connecticut Huskies. They have really assumed control of this game. Now they'll have the wind at their back as we go to the 4th quarter. So we welcome you back into Rentschler Field as we get ready to start the 4th quarter from East Hartford, Connecticut. With Mike Gottfried and Melissa Knowles, I'm Dave Armstrong. As Rutgers, who leads this series, but not in this game, UConn ranked for the very first time in their history 13th in the BCS poll. They are ranked 16th in the AP poll, 20th in the USA Today poll. All of those pretty heady numbers for Husky fans. Brown, who has really sparked UConn in the 2nd half, stopped as he tries to go left, and he loses a couple of yards. It'll be 2nd and goal from the 12.
Good play by Kevin Malice, the linebacker. He read Donald Brown all the way and was able to get in penetration, make the play.
They've been running Brown right so often, Coach. I think every now and then you just got to mix it up.
Yep, you have to. Boston College behind Florida State. Connecticut people, they cheered when they read that score on the scoreboard. They know they can move up a little bit in the BCS.
And Arizona State and Oregon. Oregon with the lead there. Could be 2 of the unbeatens going down here today. You know, I was thinking when you were talking earlier.
You said that today. Yeah, you predicted
at our meeting.
2.
I didn't know which 2 out of the 5, but I thought 2 would lose today.
Where'd you get that number from?
Just pulled it out of thin air, man.
Okay.
Yeah. But I was thinking, you know, you're talking about UConn and how they're trying to gain respect. And I think a game like this, a game like last week against South Florida, and then you couple that with a game like this against a very good Rutgers team. And then all of a sudden you start to really gain some notoriety, and some of the critics out there start to become believers.
Yeah, the critics don't know what they're talking about.
Shovel pass. That's not a fumble. That's a shovel pass. And that's incomplete.
Anybody that doesn't think this is a solid, well-rounded football team, they have a good kicking game. They're good on offense. They have a quarterback that won't beat them. They have 2 good running backs. They have a set of wide receivers that are good, a good offensive line, a good defense.
Look at that bowl eligible list. Kansas 9-0, and man, how good were they?
Basketball schools are.
That's right. I mean, Kansas today over 70 points against Nebraska, and how bad is Nebraska's black shirt defense?
I'd say about now Tom Osborne sitting somewhere thinking about what he's going to do, because that used to be the way it was on the opposite side. They used to beat Nebraska.
Yeah, you were part of that series at Kansas.
One time I was played against a great Nebraska team. We kicked off and they fumbled. We got the ball on the 3. I'll finish the story in a minute.
Cherubino, 30-yard attempt. Kind of stubbed it a little bit, but it's good.
They got the ball on the 3-yard line. They fumbled. 3 plays later, we were back on the 15. So we kicked a field goal, and that was it. It was about 69 points from Nebraska after that.
Well, here at UConn, things are certainly looking up. The Burton Family Football Complex, we got a tour of that yesterday. This is their study hall inside. Everything is under one roof. Their dining hall, their locker room, their practice facilities. Everything is at the Burton Family Football Complex. They don't even have to go outside. Once they come in the door, they don't ever have to leave this place again. Huge meeting rooms. They all get together. They have a little area they call their front room or their den, where they all get together and play pool or watch TV together. And then the Schenkman Training Center, it's attached. It's literally attached to this same Burton Family Football Complex, and that is a regulation 100-yard field with a 90-foot high ceiling so they can practice kickoffs and punts and everything else. It is a tremendous state-of-the-art facility.
Robert Burton stepped up, and he stepped up for one reason, because he wants to see Connecticut football go to the next level. Randy Edsall appreciates it. You have to have facilities, because if you don't have facilities, you're going to get out recruited.
Well, they were in trailers for so long. In fact, when Edsall took over 9 years ago, he said we didn't even have trailers. He said trailers were an upgrade for a while. And then all of a sudden we got into the trailers and went, this isn't good, because we had some guys here, some guys there in 6 different parts of the campus. Now he says we're all under one roof, and it has bonded this group. It has made them from a dysfunctional family into a cohesive one.
How about Lou Perkins, the AD that got it done here, now he's getting it done at Kansas.
How about that? Well, Melissa Knowles, more on the bonding going on here at UConn.
You know, one of the things that Coach Edsall did differently this year was he had his players really get to know each other. He had a guy with the A last name and a guy with the Z last name pair up and say, hey, where do you come from? What are you all about? Then he had them fill out a questionnaire where they could tell Coach about what they learned about that new guy. Even the coaches, when they eat in the cafeteria, they don't sit together. They are required to sit amongst the players and really get to learn about each other. Also, throughout the year, all the guys participate. Actually, about 15 to 20 of the players spend time with some kids at East Hartford Middle School, offer homework help, and they just really help out in the community. Guys?
That's a terrific story, Melissa. Thanks. You know, last year, I was thinking just what a difference a year makes, Coach. Last year, they lost to South Florida. In fact, lost badly, 38-16. Right after that game, 5 players were dismissed from the team. They broke some team violations. And as they've said, it kind of removed a cancer from our team. And this year the theme, get it done. They're tired of all the excuses, and boy, have they gotten it done.
Well, when you come together as a team, you follow the rules, and there's so many good things happen on college campuses with the football players, baseball players, basketball, visiting hospitals, doing things that, like Melissa said, in schools, you don't read about them, but there are good things happening.
Well, here it is, a 3rd and 3 for Rutgers. And you can't do that if you're the Scarlet Knights. A wide open Kenny Britt, the normally reliable Kenny Britt, and he can't hang on as Tyvon Branch was there with him defensively.
Well, you can't drop the football when you're in a fight right here. Just went right through his hands. Looks like he has his hands. Took his eyes off the football to see what room he was going to run in.
It's been one of the problems for the receivers for Rutgers this year. A lot of drop passes.
8 last week.
Yeah. Ito again, a little concerned about that punt rush. And he's able to kind of pooch one down there inside the 20 down to the 15-yard line. So we'll step aside here from East Hartford. UConn in control, 35-19. Well, Andre Dixon, who carried the ball 32 times last week against South Florida for 167 yards. He carried the ball in the first half 7 times for 36 yards. He's only carried it 3 times here in the second half for a -2 yards. And he's chilling his heels over on the sidelines right now. And you're gone to Donald Brown.
Up. I'm glad to see he's up because you go with the hot hand.
A lot of flags come in as Donald Brown runs it out to the 22-yard line. Well, it's against Rutgers. Now decision time. They're looking over at the sideline.
Offsides, defense, 5-yard penalty from the line of scrimmage. Repeat first down.
Melissa Knowles has been doing a little investigative work on Andre Dixon in the second half. Well, Melissa, what have you come up with?
Well, they say he's not injured, that Donald Brown is just doing a better job than he is right now. So they're choosing to keep Donald Brown in the game and let Andre kind of rest for a bit, guys.
Yeah, as Coach said, go with a hot hand.
With the hot hand, dance with who brung you.
But it is good to see Dixon up and cheering on his teammate.
Yep.
That shows, again, that camaraderie we were talking about with this team. This one again to Brown, just shy of the first down as Malice brings him down.
Just a little point again about good quarterback play. Tyler Lorenzen goes back. He looks down the football field, nothing open. He dumps off to the release man. Donald Brown picks up a couple yards. Smart play back. Good quarterback.
Yeah, 4.0 student at junior college and wanted to play quarterback at Iowa State. They turned him into a receiver. It'll be a first down for Brown and more. He's in a foot race. Brown down the sideline. Straight arms all the way down to the 5-yard line. Saving a touchdown there, Courtney Green.
Randy Edsel on the sideline was running right with his tailback, Donald Brown, trying to encourage him to get in the end zone.
Was he keeping up with him?
No. Donald Brown breaks it outside. Here's a missed tackle. Don't wrap up. Watch Randy Edsel. He left Randy Edsel, Donald Brown.
A 70-yard run.
There's the speed down the sideline. Not much speed.
Oh, you know what? If they get a hold of that videotape, you know the guys are going to have fun with that in the film room this week. Coach, where were you? Whoa. Brown does the splits and loses 4 yards. Wet turf got him there. They got to have been a little winded after a 70-yard run. They gave it right back to him again.
Right back to him. He is hot.
Boy, look at that. 136 yards on the ground. He's got more than Ray Rice. Lorenzen into the end zone. Oh, boy. Trying to break free in the corner of that end zone was DJ Hernandez.
See if they try to go back to Steve Browse, the tight end. He's been real good down here this year inside the 15-yard line, 10-yard line, right in this area with the option routes.
We'll key in on Brous then. Split out to the right. They go into the corner of the end zone, and this one is, it's thrown to the drum major.
Did he catch it?
I
That's
think
a
he
big
did.
question.
Sign him up. So 4th and goal.
I've seen some stories where the drum major can catch better than the wide receivers.
That's when you're in trouble. $26-yard effort here for Chiravino. And that one's good. So Chiravino tacks on 3 more. And a 19-point lead as UConn has doubled the score of Rutgers. And I think Coach Edsall's still trying to catch his breath after running down the sideline.
He's happy. Right now, as a coach, even though you know this game's not over, 10-16 a lot of time, but you're feeling good about the way your team's playing.
Well, and they've got to feel good about the way this season has gone. They had a couple of close calls. You mentioned it earlier. This one against Temple, where this play was ruled originally out of bounds by the receiver, and then they went to the replay and said it was inconclusive.
Ooh.
So it was ruled incomplete, and UConn held on to win 22-17. And then against Louisville, was this a fair catch call or not by Larry Taylor?
Definitely was.
Mike Tranghese, the commissioner of the Big East, even admitted that the officials blew this call, and Taylor takes it all the way in for the score, and they were able to beat the Cardinals 21-17.
And they fumbled at just before half, going in on the 9-yard line against Virginia, or they would have had enough points to beat them. You mentioned Mike Tranghese. He's done a great job with the Big East.
No question.
He's
a forward thinker is what he is.
Got to be proud of his conference.
I mean, a lot of people were saying, well, after Boston College and Miami, these guys all left. Uh-oh, the Big East is in trouble. Not at all. I mean, the Big East appears to be stronger than ever.
I think they are, but I believe they're going to have to add some teams down the way when you look at an 8-team conference.
All right, who do you think is in a bowl game?
I think all these, Connecticut's in, West Virginia's in, Rutgers in, Cincinnati's in, South Florida's in, and maybe Louisville. They only have 5 bowl games, though, so they need. Connecticut's got a great shot at going to the BCS.
How about that? Incomplete. Look at that BCS. Of course, West Virginia, they're up in there, and then UConn at number 13. And consider this, they've never been ranked before, and here they are at number 13.
No,
and with some teams losing ahead of them today, they can move up into that top 10 perhaps.
Well, they sure can.
Because you got West Virginia in there, Ohio State, they won. That was an impressive win for them against Wisconsin today to stay unbeaten. Boston College, they've got a tough one with Florida State tonight. Well, we'll see. You know, Arizona State, Oregon, you know.
I don't think Connecticut's going to get in the top 10 this week. They're not going to get in.
Pretty tough. I mean, because
Arizona State's not going to drop that far.
No, and Oregon will move up a little bit. Oklahoma, they're leading. Last we saw 14-0 over Texas A&M. They're playing tonight in College Station. LSU, they won over Alabama, so a lot of people are thinking LSU is going to get back in the mix. Ohio State today, though, they were down to Wisconsin and then all of a sudden went crazy and won big against the Badgers today.
How about Michigan? We started the season off at Toledo, and we saw this game. Appalachian State beat Michigan. Now they're in the hunt.
They've won 8 in a row since their opening 2 losses. Pass completed here to Underwood. It'll be a first down for Rutgers. The ball moved to the 41. And you can see they want to do a hurry-up offense for Mike Teal. Time is certainly not on their side, trailing by 19. Teal, he wants a quick strike. And a little bit too far, pass intended for Tim Brown. When you look at UConn's schedule the rest of the way, tough one next week at Cincinnati, home game against Syracuse, you'd figure that to be a win, and then the big one at West Virginia on November 24th.
Well, if they're going to win this thing, they have to win on the road. They have to beat Cincinnati and West Virginia at their place with their cooking, with their cooks. It's going to be tough.
That is going to be tough.
If they run that table, they deserve to.
Oh, no question. And if they do, Coach, then they are in the top 10.
Oh, yeah. It's West Virginia's powerful football team. They're playing loose right now. They got the loss early. I'm not so sure they're not the best team in the country right now.
In the country.
They're pretty good on defense. Slayton and White, and I tell you, they're good. Oklahoma's good. I mean, a lot of one-loss teams could say, hey, we're as good as anybody.
LSU. Oregon, you know what they did today to Arizona State. They can make a claim that they could be the best in the land. Beating USC last week, Arizona State tonight. It's pretty good back-to-back.
And the Heisman Trophy may go to the West Coast.
It could.
Dennis Dixon.
And Matt Ryan will have a lot to say about that tonight against Florida State. Against
weather,
really tough weather.
Weather up there, and Florida State's defense is good. The last time I saw, they were blanked. They had a goose egg on the scoreboard.
That Hurricane Noel affecting Boston more than it is here in East Hartford. The nor'easter, not good. Teal. Incomplete. Another dropped pass. Ivan Branch was again there defensively, but again, Britt had his hands on it and couldn't hang on. 8:17 remaining. UConn looking very impressive at home here tonight. Well, UConn impressive in the first half on special teams, impressive overall in the second half, and now leading Rutgers 38-19 with the ball with 8:17 remaining. UConn ranked for the first time in their history, coming off a win over a ranked opponent for the first time in their history. And Brown goes down, no gain. In fact, he loses about 3 yards. Stopped there by the backup middle linebacker Ryan D'Imperiano.
That clock moving in favor of Connecticut, keeping the ball on the ground.
2nd and 14. The game within the game, Coach, you start to wonder too about Teal with his team down 19. Do you risk, with his thumb injuries and everything else going on, and you start to wonder as a coach, what do you do with your quarterback?
Yeah, I think it depends on how much time's left when they get the ball back, but every second that ticks away, I think you've seen the last of Mike Teal tonight.
Yeah.
Because you might as well bring in Loveless and see what he can do throwing the football.
You know, Rutgers the rest of the way, certainly winnable games at Army, Pittsburgh, and then at Louisville. Loss tonight drops Scarlet Knights to 5-4. That'll be a first down. Good strike there from Lorenzen as he gets it out to Brad Cunyu. Courtney Green makes a stop at a first down.
How can you not look at Connecticut and think they're a pretty good football team, deserving of their ranking? I think they deserve their ranking, maybe a little bit higher, but they have all the components of a real solid football team. One of the best teams we've seen this year.
You know, the thing too is we were talking about the respect that you get. Like Kansas, I thought going into today, a lot of people doubting the Jayhawks, even though they were a number 8 ranked team in the BCS. But I think after today, with putting up more than 70 points on Nebraska, people start to go, well, you know what, maybe they are for real.
They're not bad, and they benefited from an easy schedule early in the year. But they played good football too. They beat A&M on the road. They beat Colorado on the road. So now they hook up next week at Oklahoma State and Stillwater, a tough place to play.
Yes.
And Texas came back today and beat Oklahoma State, but then they got Missouri at the end of the year in Arrowhead Stadium.
And that's a neutral site. That's where the Chiefs play in Kansas City, Arrowhead Stadium. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. That's another move by Lou Perkins, by the way, who is the new athletic director, who goes from Connecticut to Kansas. And he decided to move that game out of Memorial Stadium in Lawrence and play on a neutral site. They'll play the next 2 years at Arrowhead.
Yeah, I'm for that if Missouri gives up a home game.
Which they have.
Which they have. So not a bad idea because you can make some more money. And sometimes they say that's important.
It's a pretty good deal to do, isn't it?
If you win.
And they've sold out Arrowhead for that game. That's going to be one of the big games of that weekend if they both win out to that point. They'll both be in the top 10, and it'll be a real exciting game on the national landscape. There goes Brown again, and he is forced out of bounds, but he is all the way down to the 30 for another first down, a gain of 13. As we go down to Melissa Knowles.
These UConn fans have been on their feet since the beginning of this game. In fact, during that little break, they were yelling BCS, BCS. Let's take a look and see how much they're yelling now. Guys, I think they think their team's going to the BCS.
Way to play to the crowd, Melissa.
Yeah. Melissa, that's like that old Chevy Chase movie where they said, cue the deer, cue the Huskies.
And those fans are living the dream right now. And Jonathan, the Huskies.
BCS, 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 BCS.
Melissa's got them going.
A new chant at UConn. They've never chanted BCS before.
That's it.
They've had to learn a new cheer. Second and 14. Way to rile up the crowd, Melissa. Brown, by the way, that's his 19th carry of the game. He'll lose a couple there to drop under 150. But what a second. And remember, he had 5 yards at halftime.
And you look at having 2 tailbacks. Andre Dixon, who had a ton of yards last week against South Florida, and then you all of a sudden Donald Brown gets hot tonight. So you have a chance to put either guy in there to spark your offense.
You can never have too many good players. No. 3rd and 17 here. And that clock under 4 minutes. That's a good, smart play. Just, again, eating up some more time. Can pooch the punt down there, pin Rutgers back inside the 20.
You know, you're right when you say you can never have enough good players, but you only have one football, so they have to work together.
Yeah, right.
They have to buy into the team.
Well, Donald Brown, again, 139 of those yards coming in the second half. Rice, 97 of his yards coming in the first half. So it's been a tale of 2 halves here tonight for these running backs.
And the second half got away from Rutgers a little bit, so Ray Rice then became a non-factor because they had to throw the football.
Yes.
He's an impressive running back.
Trying to get him involved in the Heisman talk. Tough to do when your team's 5-4. But just based on his ability alone, he is one of the best running backs in the country. Rentschler Field, it's not very old, just been around since 2003. It's our site tonight with Mike Gottfried and Melissa Knowles. I'm Dave Armstrong. Watching UConn go to 8-1 on the year. improve on an already outstanding season. This is a dream-like season. And we're going to have a whistle to blow this play dead. Even Coach Edsel was saying yesterday. I'll back him up 5 yards. He said, I know it sounds easy to say this when we're 7-1 and things have gone right, but he said, just starting in January, not just this season, but starting in January when we kind of cleared some of the cancer away and we got our players united and we became less dysfunctional. He said, this has been the most fun I've ever had as a head coach.
It's fun when you win. In the Pittsburgh game, we had them. Connecticut hadn't done real well on the road in the Big East, but when they won that game, I believe they gained confidence.
Well, this punt goes into the end zone. It'll come out to the 20 when we come back. 3:28 remaining in this one. 3:28 until UConn goes to 8-1 on the year. ESPNU College Football Primetime is presented by Citi. Let's get it done. Rentschler Field, our site tonight, sold out yet again. Their 13th straight sellout here, as they have struck up the band with UConn leading 38-19. 3:28 separating UConn from an 8-1 record. Very impressive game for the Huskies here tonight. And again, we are seeing Mike Teal in here. Don't forget, right after our game, we're going to shoot you out to the Jackson State Alabama A&M contest right here on ESPNU. College Football Primetime continues, presented by Citi. Teal again. He was able to coax that pass in there to Kevin Brock. And a soft defense here by UConn. And that one incomplete, intended for poor Tim Brown, who just looks like a little pinball out there. He has taken a licking tonight.
But he keeps sticking. He keeps going
sort
down
of. I think he's in for some
field.
repairs, though.
I'm looking for the L train. I'm looking for an update on the BC game.
There's a few games going on.
BC and Illinois, Oklahoma, South Carolina, and Arkansas. I believe they're still going.
Boy, L Train, he's put you to work, man. Picked off. Teal intercepted. Yet another interception, the 19th of the year for UConn. Robert McLean, that's his first.
But that's another pass that didn't look like it came off his hand. With his thumb being injured, it looked like it came off flat. And that's why he probably needs to be on the sideline a little bit, rest that thumb.
That's the first turnover of the game.
It just came out of his hand and just got away from him. And sometimes your thumb really guides the football as you throw it. And another turnover for Connecticut. They don't make mistakes.
Plus 13 in that turnover margin, second in the NCAA. College football game day earlier today, Lee Corso was pointing out that of the top 6 teams in the turnover margin, 5 of them are in the top 10 in the country. And UConn is right there, second in the NCAA. Here they are at number 13 in the country. They just don't give the ball away. Only 4 interceptions, 6 fumbles, and they have 19 interceptions now with 4 fumble recoveries.
More games are lost than won.
Turnover margin, huge. There goes Brown again for a couple more yards. A guy keeping track of all our numbers here tonight is Rick Freischer, with help from Chris Ponte, our spotter Joey Michaels, and our stage manager Andrea Lupi. We thank them for their help here tonight.
We have a good crew here.
Great crew here in Hartford. And back to the drawing board for Greg Schiano. Back-to-back losses. Lost last week to West Virginia, 31-3. They go to Army. They'll play the Black Knights next week at West Point. That's still, for me, Coach, one of the great experiences I've had this year. Being able to go to West Point. Lorenzen again slides down to keep that clock moving.
I'm with you. That was a beautiful trip. Great place, and they're going to host Rutgers, and then they have Pittsburgh at home and at Louisville. So they have some work to do. They can maybe win all 3 of those
Coach,
games.
I'm going to interrupt you for this late-breaking message from the L Train.
Well, Coach Godfrey's wish my command. There's Boston College and Florida State. It's Matt Ryan, touchdown toss to Brandon Robinson, but FSU still leads 10-7, and OU leading Texas A&M 28-zip.
I tell you, he's Johnny on the spot.
Yes.
He really is.
You're back in there Monday.
Back
inside
in
the
Monday,
polls.
See Tom Luganbill and the L Train and Sean Murphy and Pete Waters and the whole crew.
Inside the polls, folks. If you have not checked out this show, do it. It's Monday night. It gives you a total recap of what happened in college football over the weekend and a look ahead at the next week.
6 o'clock Eastern.
6 Eastern. And then it replays a lot, but catch it. I mean, I've got it on my DVR every week. Check you guys out, see what you're talking about. It's a great recap of all things college football. Catch it on the U. Inside the polls, 6 o'clock Monday night. Clock at 1:30 now. Don't forget, if you don't have ESPNU, just log on to ESPNU.com and then just type in your zip code at the top of the page. It'll direct you to either your cable operator or whatever. Call them, say, hey, what's going on here? We want the U, man.
Yeah, you need the U. I tell you, this week, I believe in one poll or another, Connecticut deserves to be in the top 10. I really
It's tough to
believe it.
crack the top 10.
I know that
but
it's tough, but I'll tell you what, they played a good schedule. They're a good, real solid football team. They need to be in the top 10.
Well, here's all the stuff coming up on the U just in the month of November alone.
Just November.
79 live events. I'll be doing lots of college basketball
We do
on the U.
79 of them.
Yeah, I'm not doing that many, but I've got a few. I'm going to Texas A&M for some basketball, going to Baylor for some basketball. And now flags come flying in. It looks like a delay of game.
Players on the field, on the defense, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
Dave, I'll tell you who's living right. Les Miles.
Yeah.
Did you see the end of that game?
No,
Alabama.
I was working here. How could I see the end of
well,
that
I
one?
was working with you, but Alabama fumbled the football on their own 3-yard line. One quarterback sack. So this guy's living the dream.
Nobody back there to get the ball, and what a perfect punt. Perfect punt. Little slippage at the end. Oklahoma, by the way, they're up now 28-0 over Texas A&M.
We didn't need the L train for that, right? You just
let you know. So 118 and
counting. Randy Edsel can manage a smile over there. He feels good about his football team.
Tough game. We were at Cincinnati a few weeks ago. Cincinnati, a lot like UConn in that they've had a breakthrough season this year. And they'll be there next week.
They'll have their hands full with
Cincinnati,
especially at UC. Matt Mock and a very good defensive football team had a big win against South Florida.
Dump this one off to Rice. He is dumped down unceremoniously at the 20.
This is a young Rutgers team,
yes,
too.
It is.
So they got almost all these guys coming back next year.
pass completed to Underwood.
Ray Rice developing more as a receiver out of the backfield this year.
Well, last week they charged the field after their win over South Florida. I don't think anybody's going to charge the field tonight, but they certainly should celebrate again. This is a good win over a good Rutgers team.
It's like Dick Clark's countdown right now, 12 seconds. I think a few people will charge. The mascot and a few more.
This is just, in my mind, another step on the road to respectability and putting yourself solidly in that national landscape in college football. Pass is caught, and out of bounds goes Kenny Britt with just 5 seconds remaining.
You know what happens, Dave? You win so much and often, then you get used to it. So maybe that's the point you're saying right now. They celebrated last week with a big win. This is a big win too, but they're getting used to it now.
Congratulations all around for Randy Edsall, Greg Schiano, who had this kind of success last year when they started off 9-0 and then stumbled against Cincinnati and triple overtime to West Virginia. Teal throws it up for grabs in the end zone, and this one is incomplete, and that will end the game as UConn celebrates to go to 8-1 for the first time in their history. So once again, our final score, UConn wins this one 38-19. Coming up next, Jackson State against Alabama A&M. For more information, log on to your home for the finest in college sports, ESPNU.com. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. From Mike Gottfried and Melissa Knowles, Dave Armstrong saying so long from Hartford. And now for some of you, we send you to Lowell Galindo with sports.